Hare Krishna. Today we are going to study the third verse of the sixth chapter of Bhagwat Gita as it is. The name of this chapter is Dhyan Yoga. After listening to the first and the second verse of this chapter, Arjun had a question in his mind. Arjun was a very active and alert student of Krishna, and he never accepted anything till he understood it properly, which is why many times Arjun asked questions to Krishna, and there were many times that Arjun did not ask the question but Krishna answered. Now, how is it possible that Krishna answered Arjun those questions which he never even asked? The reason is this, that Krishna is Rishikesh and he is the controller of everyone's senses, not only of the human beings, but in the 84 lakhs of species. He knows everyone's past, present and future. This is the power of Krishna. Krishna is omniscient. Omniscient means one who knows everything about everyone. Now coming back to today's shloka, when Arjun listens to Krishna say in the first verse of this chapter, Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Anashritah Karma Phalam Karyam Karma Karoti Yah Sasanyasi Cha Yogi Cha Na Niragni Cha Akriya. Krishna said, is unattached to the fruits of his work, and who works as he is obligated is in the renounced order of life. Krishna is giving the definition of sannyasi, that one who is unattached to the fruits of his work and who does his work as if he is obligated to do his work. That person is known as to be a sannyasi, or the renounced order of life, to be in the renounced order of life. And he is a true mystic. Mystic means yogi. Not that person who does not light fire and who does not perform his obligatory work. Verse, Krishna gave the definition of a real sannyasi and yogi. Krishna said that a person who does all his prescribed duties without expecting any result or to enjoy the result of his work is truly a sannyasi, and a person who does not have any desire to enjoy anything in this material world is a yogi. Then in the next verse, Krishna said, Yam sannyasam iti prahu yogam tam vidhi pandava nahya asanyasta sankalpo yogi bhavati kaschana. Then Krishna said that what is called renunciation is the same as yoga, or linking oneself with the Supreme. For no one can become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification. Krishna is making it clear that a sannyasi can become a yogi, and a person who is a yogi has definitely renounced the desire for sense gratification. And a person who has not renounced his desire for sense gratification is not a yogi. And yogi is a person who is working on linking himself with the Supreme, which means renouncing everything. That is same as yoga, or linking oneself with the Supreme. It means that only a renunciate can become a yogi. Renunciate means a sannyasi. So it's very clear that yogi is definitely a renunciate, and one who has not renounced the desire of sense gratification is certainly not a yogi. Now, after listening to Krishna, Arjun had a doubt. Arjun thought that till when a dhyan yogi has to perform nishkam karma yoga? Is he expected to do nishkam karma yoga for a lifetime, for lifelong? This question came in the mind of Arjun because in the first verse, Krishna had said that whether it is a sannyasi or a yogi, both have to perform nishkam karma yoga. So to answer Arjun and to clear his doubt, Krishna said the third verse which we are going to study today. So let us recite the verse first and then we will understand it by reading the Anvay and purport given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Srila Prabhupada. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur ki jai. Arurukshoh, for who is desiring to begin. Muneh, for the sage. Yogam, steadfast meditation or dhyan yog. Karm, nishkam karma yog. Karanam, the practice or sadhana. Uchyate is said. Yog arudasya, for that person who has attained to the highest stage of dhyan yog. Tapasya. Tasya, for him, the sage. Ev, certainly. Samaha, renunciation. Karanam, the practice. Uchyate is said. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that a sage who is aspiring to ascend the path of unwavering meditation upon the Supreme, he worships him by offering the fruits of his activities. So offering the fruits of one's own activities means nishkam karma. And nishkam karma is the means for a sage or a yogi who is aspiring to achieve the unwavering meditation upon the Supreme. Unwavering means which is stable. And the same yogi, when he achieves steadiness in that elevated stage of yoga, then the means of nishkam karma, which was the means for a beginner in the yoga process, is no more required, because now it creates distraction. So it is wise for him to leave the nishkam karma at this stage, and leaving the nishkam karma is the means for a yogi who has now reached to the advanced stage in the yoga ladder. This is explained by the words aruruksho and yoga rudhasya. Aruruksho means one who has just begun to practice the yoga system, and arudasya means one who has attained stability and unwavering meditation upon the Supreme Lord. For a beginner in the yoga system, nishkam karma is a must, but when one has advanced and has been able to stabilize his mind and senses, then he can leave the nishkam karma, because now at this stage nishkam karma is also a distraction in the process of devotion upon the Supreme Lord. This was the answer to Arjun for his query that till when a yogi has to perform nishkam karma yoga. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnavon ki jai. Now we shall read the purport given by Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnavon ki. Srila Prabhupada says that the process of linking oneself with the Supreme is called yoga, which may be compared to a ladder for attaining the topmost spiritual realization. This ladder begins from the lowest material condition of the living entity and rises up to perfect self-realization in pure spiritual life. According to various elevations, different parts of the ladder are known by different names, but all in all, the complete ladder is called yoga and may be divided into three parts. First is Gyan Yoga, then Dhyan Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. The beginning of the ladder is called Yoga Ruruksha, and the highest rung is called Yoga Rudha. Srila Prabhupada says that the eightfold yoga system, it has attempt in the beginning to enter into the meditation through regulative principles of life and practice of different sitting postures. Prabhupada says that in the beginning, the meditation starts by practicing the regulative principles and the practice of sitting postures. Thereafter, when the yogi does it properly well, then all such activities lead achieving to mental equilibrium, perfect mental equilibrium to control the senses. When one is accomplished in the practice of meditation, he ceases all disturbing mental activities, which means then he can leave the Nishkam Karma Yoga, because now that Nishkam Karma Yoga is also a sort of deviation. So till the person reaches the mental equilibrium, which is the stability of mind and senses, till then he has to practice the Nishkam Karma Yoga. But he when reaches to the topmost level, that is to the equilibrium, the stability of the mind and senses, then all the Nishkam Karma, the distracting activities can be stopped. It is called the distracting activities or deviating activities because now the senses and mind is properly stabilized and it is appropriate to start with the Bhakti Yoga. This is why it is said that the two levels of the yoga ladder are explained here. The first is Yoga Rurukshu, and the next level, that is a higher level, that is known as Yoga Rudha. Srila Prabhupada says that the process of linking oneself with the Supreme Lord is called yoga, which is just like a ladder that helps a person to reach to the topmost level of spiritual realization. Srila Prabhupada says that normally people have the concept of yoga only to be some bodily exercises or postures. But bodily postures or asanas are just one part of the Ashtanga Yoga system. And the main objective is to have spiritual realization and revive the lost connectivity with the Supreme Krishna. Srila Prabhupada explains that we are a part and parcel of Krishna, and somehow we have fallen from the spiritual world, and Krishna is our eternal parent. And to get us back to the spiritual kingdom, he has designed this yoga system, which can be compared to a ladder. This yoga ladder has three parts. The first part is the Gyan Yoga. The second part is the Dhyan Yoga, and the topmost is the Bhakti Yoga. The people who by reading the scriptures understand that this material world is temporary and there is no permanent happiness here, they lose all interest in making any efforts to acquire the material wealth and luxuries. They immediately shut off all their senses for worldly happiness and only focus on the divine effulgence of the Supreme Lord, which is the impersonal Brahman. These people are called Jnanis, and their sole target is to merge with the impersonal Brahman. But everyone cannot be like these Jnanis, who would take the knowledge from the scriptures and abruptly stop all material endeavors. So for the other category of people, Dhyan Yoga is recommended. In Dhyan Yoga, the eightfold yoga system is there to gradually elevate people from the bodily exercises to the unwavering meditation upon the Supreme Lord. The eightfold yoga system has Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, and finally Samadhi. That is the complete meditation upon the Supreme Lord. Yam means the prohibitions which is mentioned in the scriptures, like no intoxication, no meat eating, no gambling, and no illegal relationships. Niyam means the prescription, that is, to do all the work which has been sanctioned by the scriptures according to the Varnashram Dharma. Then asan means to sit in different postures which helps to control the mind and senses by doing the various breathing exercises in pranayam like anulom, vilom, etc. etc. And after this, pratyahar, which means to have control on the diet that helps a person to control mind and senses. These 5 steps are the initial practices for a beginner in Dhyan Yoga. And when the yogi achieves success in attaining stability of mind and senses through these processes, then he reaches to a higher level in which there is dharana, dhyan and samadhi. These 3 are the intense level of meditation which completes the ladder of the Dhyan Yoga. First level has the initial yoga practices of Dhyan Yoga, and the people who are in the first stage are called Aruruksho, which means the beginners on the yoga ladder. And for this level, Nishkam Karm is the means to control the mind and senses. But when the yogi reaches to the higher level of Dhyan Yoga, after having controlled the mind and senses by the process of intense meditation, then he need not do Nishkam Karm Yoga, as now his mind and senses have no desire for any kind of sense enjoyment, and at this level, leaving the Nishkam Karm is the means. This higher level is called Yoga Rudhastha. Now I am sure that we have properly understood about all the different yoga process like Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyan Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. We studied about Karma Yoga in the 3rd chapter, in which Nishkam Karma Yoga is explained, which helps to purify all the dirty desires of the mind. Then in the 4th chapter, Jnana Yoga is explained, where it is explained in great details about the transient and flickering nature of everything in this material world. Then in the 5th chapter, Karma Yoga, that is the activities in Krishna consciousness, is explained. And now we have started with the 6th chapter, that is Dhyan Yoga. Arjun, after hearing from Krishna about the different yoga processes, had a question in his mind that till when a yogi is expected to do Nishkam Karma. In answer to Arjun, Krishna said that the beginner in the Dhyan Yoga ladder will have to perform the Nishkam Karma. But when the yogi reaches the higher level, then for him leaving the Nishkam Karma is the means. Now Prabhupada is giving us a comparative study. Prabhupada says that all the efforts which is put in by a Dhyan yogi to control his mind and senses by practicing the mechanical process of Ashtanga Yoga is very naturally and spontaneously achieved by a person who is in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada is giving us a comparative study about Dhyan Yoga and the practices of Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada says that with much difficulty in Dhyan Yoga, when a person is able to control his mind and senses, the same thing is achieved very easily by the practices of Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada explains that how a Krishna conscious person achieves the stability of mind and senses so easily. Prabhupada says that it happens because he is full-time absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna. He sees Krishna everywhere. He works only for the happiness of Krishna, and this is how he ceases to do all kinds of material activities for his own sense gratification. This is the beauty and the benefit of being in Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada says that what the Jnanis and Dhyanis achieve after following the rules and regulations of Jnana Yoga and Dhyan Yoga, that is very easily achieved by a Bhakti Yogi, by practicing the most simple ways in Bhakti Yoga, that is by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, by listening to Bhagwat Gita and Bhagavatam, by having Krishna Prasadam, and by singing and dancing in the Harinam Sankirtan. To explain this more explicitly, Srila Prabhupada always gives the analogy of Rishi Vishwamitra and our Nam Acharya, Haridas Thakur. Rishi Vishwamitra practiced Ashtang Yoga for 60,000 years, but the sound of anklet bells of Menaka distracted him, and all his austerities and penances were ruined, and in him aroused the sense gratification. This is how Rishi Vishwamitra had a fall down. And in a similar incident, when Haridas Thakur was approached and lured by a prostitute, Haridas Thakur politely asked her to wait till he completed his chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Haridas Thakur chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra for 22 hours in a day. The prostitute repeatedly came to Haridas Thakur for 3 nights, and on the 4th day, she herself got transformed into a pure devotee of Sri Krishna, who is the Supreme Lord of all the universes. This analogy makes it so clear that the process of Krishna consciousness is much easier compared to Gyan and Dhyan Yoga, and there is no risk of downfall at any situation. Now we have to decide which path to opt. In Gyan Yoga, one needs to read the scriptures and control the mind and senses. In Dhyan Yoga, one needs to sit in a posture with half-closed eyes and focus on the tip of the nose and do pranayam and then meditate on the Paramatma who is residing in the heart. And the path of Krishna consciousness is the most simplest and easiest. Simply chant, dance and take prasadam. Srila Prabhupada has made it so easy for us to decide which path we want to opt for self-realization. In today's verse, we have understood the 2 different levels of Dhyan Yoga, as we are now studying Dhyan Yoga in detail. The first level is called Yoga Rurukshu, and the advanced level is Yoga Rur. In the preliminary level, Nishkam Karm is compulsory, but as the yogi advances to the higher level of meditation upon the Supreme Lord, then the means of Nishkam Karm can be left, as it creates distraction in Krishna Bhakti. It is the same as when a beginner learns cycling. He needs balancers, but when he has learnt to cycle properly, then the balancers are removed. I am sure by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur and my Shiksha Guru, His Grace Harimohan Das Prabhuji, we have properly understood the 2 levels of Dhyan Yoga until when the Nishkam Karm is compulsory. I thank you for listening to the words of Krishna so attentively and patiently. Please write your realizations, and in case you have any questions, then please write it in the comment box. I will surely try to answer your questions by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Now we shall meet in the next week with the next verse. Till then, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Please share the video with others, as this is the highest form of social work. Hare Krishna, Jai Srila Prabhupada.